This is actually my 44th episode since I started. I can't believe we've hit 44. Yeah, in a year. So I know. So thank you guys. And thank you for being my guest. I had your parents on a few weeks ago and it was super nice. We were like we could go on and on and on. I love chatting with your parents. They're so much fun.
I know, right?
And yeah, I love speaking to them. I love listening to them. They're so such a ano, they're a couple goals for a lot, I think. Yeah. So okay guys, so let us begin. I'm gonna start my questions. Um so the first question is if you remember how we met. Haha. This is something I ask all my guests.
I feel like it could have been when I was really young and I didn't remember, or at church.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was
Do you
church. I think it was church, but I um with your parents, but I feel like I really got to know you because of my brother,
Yeah,
Andre.
yeah,
So
true.
that's really when we actually had like a conversation, like one of those Friday night
Mm-hmm.
things or something like that. But your parents I've known longer. I knew kasi Ella ahead of you because you're so much younger, diba? But
Yeah.
I think when you and Andre parang became like friends and barkada, whatever, then that's when I really got to know you. And then Noel pala. So guys, Noel super like really looks up to you and parang you really played like a big role in her life. I feel even with YouTube and everything, you really were an inspiration to her and she really looked up to you. And since she was like what 13 or something,
Oh,
so that's really when I got to know more about you and really watch you and stuff like that. Your style icon. I saw Ella. Ella, hello. My
your no,
sister is
your
here.
oh, not me.
Ah, Amiba. I thought you were just talking to your sister. Ah, there's Noelle. So yeah. Okay, guys. So then the question I'm gonna start with is, I wanted to ask you about YouTube because you know you started at such a young age. I feel like even before YouTube became a thing, you know, before it really became a popular thing, you were already on it. And I wanted to ask you what made you decide to begin YouTube and share your videos and all of that.
I think I was looking up to a lot of other YouTubers that were like from abroad, and it was mostly makeup YouTube. That's kind of what got me into YouTube in general, like makeup tutorials, because I was like in that age of starting to get ready and seeing friends and stuff, and I wanted to be able to put makeup on, but I couldn't really relate much with, like, for example, the products that they would talk about. It wouldn't be available here in the Philippines, or the outfits that they'd have when they do, like, oh, that was so uso before, remember, yung mga
Yeah.
outfits. Like, I wouldn't we
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to buy those things there, here. So it was like, um I loved those YouTubers, but I didn't really feel as if I could relate to them much.
Mm.
And I'm wondering if, like, other people also felt that way. So, I don't know. I was just kind of like, maybe if I was to start my channel, people could relate to the way that, like, putting on Morena skin is very difficult
Yeah.
up, and, like, yeah, I just felt as if there was a missing piece there. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I also was passionate about, not really as
Yeah,
passionate.
you're so creative kasi.
Oh, thank you. But
Yeah.
I didn't. Parang it was just a natural progression of, oh, I kind of want to say something. I want to make videos too. And at that time, it was like people were starting making YouTube videos, and I wanted to be there.
Yeah. How old were you when you started?
I was 16. Oh my God.
Oh wow. How old are you now? What
I'm
are you
20.
20? Wow, it's been that long.
Ah, crazy.
Wow.
Almost six
My
years.
God. Wow. And you were so ano pa, you were so young pa then and I mean you really see the difference from your first video to now. Parang even your content is more mature. There's more experience now. So you really see the growth that
Mm-hmm.
you went through that, you know, through your journey on YouTube. Wow. Okay, so now I wanted to ask you about, you know, college because you recently finished a course in Hillsong, Australia,
Yes.
and it's something that is not like traditional. It's not like a, you know, it's not like a typical, you know, like entrepreneurship, IT, or business course, is it leadership? Is it, or what
So
is
it's
it?
a mix of,
Pastoral, right?
yeah, it's a mix of like theology classes and film and TV. So
Yep.
like the subjects are divided between like, yeah, stuff like personal leadership, Old Testament introduction, like learning about the gospel, and then on one end of the spectrum you have like cinematography, script writing. It was just such a
Yeah.
random like mix of things. So when I found out about the course, I was like, this is like so perfect because it's developing my personal spiritual health, but at the
Yeah.
same time it is helping me develop my craft. And I learned so much about like creativity and expertise in terms of the film industry through that. But I don't think I would have developed as a creative like as much as I did if it didn't also touch like my personal soul, if that made sense.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
true. I remember pa when I think you performed. It was your first year there, I think, and we were there at the Hillsong conference, and you danced pa and everything. That was so fun. It's such a. I think the environment talaga of having people that have the same beliefs, and the culture is so different because everyone is there really to praise and worship God while working on their skills that could be for life and business and all of that,
yeah,
right? So I wanted to talk about that, and if you felt that you know there was a lack in, how, because people now are like, a lot of parents actually push their children to go for traditional school, like, oh, you have to have this master's degree or whatever, or get your diploma in this and this and this. But you guys, you chose to take something that was not traditional or
yeah,
popular, and still there is parang there's purpose in you, and you still got to achieve what you needed in school, because in the
yeah.
end, school is supposed to parang equipped you, diba, for real life and everything. So I wanted you to share about the experience. Do you feel like there is anything that you lack, pros, cons, stuff like that, so that maybe parents who might be watching, and they'll actually give a chance to their children to explore other means of education and all of that. So
Yeah, that's so true. I think, yeah, like you mentioned, I think knowing the purpose is the most important thing. Like, what is the goal of going to school? Is it just for the sake of having a degree? Or, like, do you actually have this passion that you can't help but pursue? And a lot of times, I think, yeah, that's true. It's very traditional to just go to school and do it just because. And I just feel like that's such a waste of money. Number one, that's such a waste of money to like four
true.
years of paying for classes that you don't even want to really go to. Like I didn't feel as if like I was looking at the prices of like a college abroad and stuff, and I really couldn't justify like, oh my god, this is so much money for something that I'm not even sure I'm into, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like I honestly feel as if it was such a blessing for my parents to give me the opportunity to have a gap year. My gap year was supposed to be Hillsong College, and then
Oh.
yeah, so it was supposed to be a gap year. It wasn't my college. But when I came back from Hillsong College, I was like, I don't need 4 years of another
Oh.
to know what I
Yeah.
want. Like I really know what I want and I know how to grow in that, because if there was one thing that I learned from studying there, it was that experience taught so much more than sitting in a classroom. And especially when it comes to something when it's film, like
Mm-hmm.
um a creative outlet or something, skills can only take you so far, but they're
Yeah.
still very much important. Like the
Yeah.
fact that I went to school for it for a year and a half was a lot already, but like I don't know, I just felt as if like I have a feeling I need to put this into practice to like solidify it. But I'm not
Mm-hmm.
done with education. Like I'm
Oh.
so not done, and I'm still super hungry for to learn more. But I just think that yeah, it's just really sayang that to do the traditional route just for the sake of it.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
and like my purpose was, I actually had like a 5-step purpose, but like my purpose was like mainly to develop my independence, to develop my craft, to understand myself as a person apart from what I've grown up with, and to deepen my relationship with the Lord. And like those things were all things that I was able to achieve in the year and a half that I was there.
Yeah.
Um, but I come home, and the theology classes that I took in Hillsong are now credited towards an online course that I'm taking for my degree.
Oh, nice.
So I'm
Wow.
going to graduate with a bachelor's degree in theology
Oh,
because
wow.
classes that I was able to credit in
Mm-hmm.
my modules now. So I'm working on my modules now, not as consistently as I hoped.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing, like, I really want to finish with a degree. Like I cherish also
Yeah, of
the the
course.
credentials,
Mm-hmm.
of having of having a degree. And I think a lot of people, when they ask me like, what course are you doing? I'm like, oh, theology. They're like, what? you know, but I'm like, but I like it, and I'm learning so
Yeah.
much. And it's, majority of the work is, well, really all of the work is essay writing, and I love to write.
Oh, wow.
And at
Okay.
the same time, it's giving me, since it's like on my own time, it's giving me also the opportunity to work. So yeah, I guess for the parents that are watching, I guess, and if your kids are asking you to take another route, I just think
Mm-hmm.
that the world has changed so much, and it has given us
Yeah,
shortcuts.
true.
And I think that if we have the opportunity, to be able to what's the word, like, save some money and take, courses that are a little bit out of the norm, I guess.
Yeah.
Child is
Something
happy.
more fulfilling, I feel.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
because
why.
actually, you're right. With the world has changed so much. There's so many creative positions. I mean, like, hello, there was no social media before, but now everything, everything is social media. Everything is online. I mean, there now we do online grocery. Before there was nothing, So it has also created so many other jobs that didn't exist like
Exactly.
10 years ago, 5 years ago. So yeah, I mean, we
Everything
really
can be
have to.
now.
Sorry, sorry,
Like
what?
now, and things can be done remotely now. Like before, you couldn't even
Exactly.
go to, you couldn't finish school from home before. But
Yeah.
now you can finish school from home and maybe do it in 2 years, when it usually would have taken 4 years, because you
Mm-hmm.
had travel pa, and you had like breaks in
Yeah,
between and all these things. But I don't know.
true. And
Yeah.
even I feel like with like kids nowadays, teens, you're all working while studying. You're earning your own money while working. Before, we couldn't even do that. It was like school lang, and then you wait till you graduate, and then that's when you work. But now, you guys have such a great opportunity and a privilege to be able to do what you love and work, and then do, school, be in school at the same time. So times
Yeah.
have really changed, and it's great that you also share your experience because there are some parents who don't really understand that as well, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, there. Oh, we have nice comments here. Let me read this one. I'm so thankful that I follow you. You encourage not only young minds but all generations, especially how you walk in your faith and your desire to share the gospel. I super agree with that. I think that's one common thing that we really see from you. No matter how old you are, you really are a role model and an inspiration to many, even those that are older than you. It's so amazing. That's really a gift, and I think that's really part of the purpose that God has for you. Because it's naturally in you. It's something that you don't even have to try. It's something that you really exude, and yeah, how amazing it is to have that gift. And yeah, sure your parents are so proud also.
I
So yes,
know.
speaking of that, um, like I said earlier, you are a role model to many. What is one message that you really wish, or message or lesson that you wish that people would learn from you? Now, something that you just want to convey to everyone. What would it be?
The one message.
Yeah.
I think it would be the importance of spiritual health, like, and just connectedness with God, and the purpose that comes from just that. Because, like, I think all of these things are additional, like talents, gifts, and stuff. But if there's no purpose, everything doesn't really amount. You know what I mean? Nothing really
Yeah.
makes nothing's worth it, or like nothing is enough,
It's
to be
empty.
able to say I got it,
Yeah.
I made it, and stuff like that. And I think that I truly found freedom when I realized that I shouldn't be ashamed of the fact that I am a Christian, and the fact that I follow the Lord, and He's my God. And I think that is something that may be a bit different for the people that do follow me, because they're like, people aren't usually talking about their spiritual relationships, or like, or existential crisis and stuff like that. And sometimes it's easier to just brush through it, because I mean, not everyone will agree with you. And obviously there are people who'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to watch her stuff, I don't want to deal with her because she's like talking about something I don't care about. But like, that's my one message, is the life that life is so not worth it apart from God. And I'd hope that everything that I do is hopefully a reflection of who God is and what He can do through me. Like, that's one of
Mm-hmm.
my affirmations in the morning. It's like, Lord, make me a vessel to be a reflection of your creativity. You know, I feel like if I was doing all of these things and just pointing at me, look how good I am, look how talented I
Mm.
am. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
what? Um, so yeah, I think that's the main thing. And I guess that's what also makes the standard so high. It's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily like I want to please other people or stuff like that, but it's knowing that, like, this is not my work, or not, you know what I mean, not for me. That puts more pressure on it, because it's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
doing the Lord's work, like I'm not doing just something I want, and I can't just do the things that I want because I'm supposedly a reflection. So
Yeah. I have a question. Because a lot of people, especially kids your age, there's always this pressure, I guess, to look a certain way, and like, or even speak a certain way, even about faith, like you were saying, parang you feel like it's not something that everyone would appreciate. Do you ever have people, parang do you feel the judgment from people, or pressure of people your age would be like, parang, oh, you talk about God too much, or is there like persecution, and how do you deal with that? Are there any, like harsh words about it, or not
um
really?
I actually don't think so. I think I think well, like, for example, like FNL, and the reason why I was so close to
Mm,
Andre, or got close to Andre, was because everyday people who looked like me, people my age, were talking about God as if it was a normal conversation. And I was
yeah.
really surprised, because growing up, it was like I would only really engage or talk about God or have him in my conversations in church. But like, I'd hang out with, like, yeah, so Andre, Janina, and stuff like that, and then we'd be like out having lunch and talking about our faith. And it's like, whoa, this can be part of an everyday conversation, and it doesn't have to be weird.
Yeah.
I think it was then when I realized that, like, whoa, like, if we are going to be the people that are going to, like, normalize this, like, how
Mm,
amazing would that be? And say it's
yeah.
not normalized in a situation, let's say in a situation where you just feel like it's not really fitting to talk about God. I was really encouraged one time when I forgot which message it was, but it was like, you don't have to, like, plant seeds in people or share the gospel by saying Jesus. You don't have to say Jesus, or you don't
Mm,
have to say God. But
mm-hmm.
it's in the way we act, it's in the way we talk, it's in the way we love.
Yeah.
So I think that that's why it's super important to be mindful of, like, okay, what does this person need right now? Do they need someone to shove Jesus down their throat, or do they just need a friend
Mm-hmm.
to listen to them?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
9 times out of 10, eventually, after much, just kind of reading the room, you
Mm-hmm.
will find an opportunity to be able to say, hey, I just was wondering, like, where do you stand when it comes to this, or
That's
something. It's
true.
like, I think it's just not forcing it. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to force it, you will have backlash and you'll be like,
Yeah, or if you become preachy or like, I'm better than you, or you have to do this, you have to do that, diba? That's when it
yeah,
becomes like, I think really like what you're doing is perfect because you're just living the life how Jesus would want it. It's not trying to show anything, it's not trying to prove anything,
mhm,
right? It's very, and that's how it is. I think that's what draws people to you also because it's very inviting and it's very sincere and genuine. It's real. And that's
yeah.
what Christianity is all about.
And you know, I
Yeah.
was super humbled when a pastor said on platform one time, he was like, "You're not the one who's gonna save people."
Mm.
I was like, because like I think
Oh, no.
we think that it's our role to say things and to teach or educate people and stuff.